Welcome to the Gen Z Manifesto, and this program, as you know, is dedicated to addressing issues that fraught Generation Z. And so today on the program, as you can see, I'm sandwiched between four gentlemen, I beg your pardon, two of whom are communicators and one political science student, and of course an HR student. So on my left, there is Nanaya Wasari. He completed AUCC a while ago. Then there's Titus Owusudako, also a student of Unimac JIJ. There is Ayoba from the University of Ghana and Roberts from the University of Ghana as well. And here I am, Tutuwaa Danso. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the communicators. You have paid attention to journalism recently. How do you assess media freedom?
Well, I think journalists or media freedom is not something at a right position now, because we are in a country where journalists are being treated in such a way that they are not getting their freedom.
In what manner?
We all witnessed how a journalist was live on TV and police personnel were attacking him whilst reporting live on TV. This what shows the journalists are having their media freedom or their freedom to practice their work.
So in your assessment, there's no media freedom in the country, or we have dropped in terms of media freedom? Which is which?
We've dropped. I think that the Ghana Journalists Association should ensure that journalists have full freedom of the work they are doing.
Nanaya, Titus has talked so much about how the security agencies play a role in limiting media freedom. What's your take on that?
We know that we live in a country where security is always downplayed in every aspect. It's not just with journalists. In every aspect, you find the security trying to undermine overpower themselves and then undermine the institutions that they're supposed to protect. So I think, like he said, the GHOne can do more. We have been given the freedom. It's getting better thanks to social media. Journalists can now complain, but it can be more, there's more than can be done.
What do you think are the lapses?
First of all, I would say the political parties establishing media houses is one of the greatest flaws that we have here. Because if you have a political party opening a media house, the tendency of attacking a particular political party is high. And when you know that when you are attacked, the expectation to react is also high. So when they attack the political party, you should expect them to react.
So if I understand you, the establishment of political media houses contributes to the drop in our media freedom.
Yes, one of the greatest flaws. And I think one of the other flaws will be the fact that we don't license. I don't think most of the media houses are licensed, or they go through scrutiny. So far as you have the money to open a media house, you get go.
But do you think it's about the media house or the media personnel?
It's the Ghana Standard Authority. I think they are the problem, because if I have the money or NCA, if I have the money and I can open a media house, but you go through the checks and you realize that I'm not fit enough, I don't have the personnel, I don't have the resources, it is in your power to ensure that I don't open the media house. But if you allow me to go on air, I don't think I should be at fault.
Titus, you talked about what security agencies and then the motherboard of journalists in the country is not doing right, reason for which we have suppressing our media freedom ranking. What about the journalists? Don't you think that some of them are at fault?
Well, you see, we have the GJ Code of Conduct. Some journalists are not putting into consideration these rules and regulations set by the Ghana Journalists Association. And so everyone calls him or herself a journalist and will be doing something different, something that is not aligned with the rules and regulations. So sometimes some so-called journalists are to be blamed.
So in the event that a journalist who is not abreast with the GJ Code of Conduct breaches some of these conducts, what do you expect the security personnel to do? I'm not endorsing violence. I just want to know your take on that.
I think that is why we have the GJA, we have the Media Commission, we have the Ministry for Information. I think the government institutions that deals with anything communication and anything information should work hand in hand with the security agencies and fight these people because we are in a country where disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation.
We will delve deeply into that, but let me come quickly to Ayoba. You are the political science student. I believe that you have paid attention to the political landscape. You know what happens in the media system as well. What is your assessment of press freedom?
Well, when we think about press freedom in Ghana, especially, we can see that it has dwindled within the past years, hurriedly, such that some journalists, as my brother said, they have been attacked. For example, Ahmed Swali, you can use him as an example where he was attacked, and for a time being now, or up till today, we haven't found the perpetrators of those who actually attacked him. And then we can mention other journalists. So journalism or press freedom in Ghana is actually dwindling years by year, and if care is not taken, if we do not look at it very well from another aspect, we would have a country where everyone would just stand up and then do everything they just want to do at a point in time.
As a political science student, would you apportion some of the blame on political actors?
I will apportion 90% of the blame on them, such that these political figures or these political parties tend to influence these radio stations and journalists. For example, we have some TV stations in the country which are owned by these politicians, quote unquote. Now, the moment they are to come on set, what are they going to do? We are going to see that they are going to be very biased to the other party, and that is very dangerous to our democracy, whereby if they are to attack the other parties involved, either being the party is in the position or the party is in government, we will see that it is going to just disrupt the democracy processes in the country.
Robert, you don't do much of media, but you're an HR person or an incoming HR person. Let me ask you, what do you make of journalist situation in the country with regards enumeration?
Okay, so considering my HR background and everything I learned in HR, I feel that in remuneration, it's about what you put out there that determines your worth. So if you feel that
before we even come to the individual investments, do you think that this system in Africa is fertile for journalism?
Yes, I believe so, because they are the backbone of the country in terms of maybe bringing out information which is going to help the citizens know what to vote for, who to vote for, and how to vote in according to like the perspective of the country in general. So if we don't have journalism, because journalism is like a program or like a field where people are passionate to deliver to the youth and to the people of the country. So if you're not passionate and you're going for only the money, I don't think you're going to love what you do, because you're more focused on the money and not the work.
I'm actually asking this because, Ayoba has talked about the fact that 90% of the politicians own media houses. And over the period, we have seen conversations where journalists say that they are underpaid. So if they are underpaid and there are politicians willing to give them the money, will they not likely, be in these media houses? Don't you think so?
They would. It's due to the fact that, one, they are money driven because of like the economy of the current state of the country. Second of it is, most of the people who are moving to those media houses, they have an affiliation there, or they feel those people, those media houses can give them the benefit they deserve, And another thing is, they feel that when the party in question comes into power, they are going to live good lives. So they feel that if moving to that place will be a benefit, why they have to move there rather than staying in their current position, which like they feel they are undermined. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Robert. You're still watching the Gen Z Manifesto. We are right back after this break. Don't go away. You're welcome back from that break. This is still your Gen Z Manifesto, and I am Tutuwaa Danso. I'm going to continue with the conversation and come to you, Nanaya, before I do Titus. Nanaya, did you pay attention to any of the manifestos by the political parties?
Yes, I did.
When you have been practicing journalism for some time now, when it comes to accessing information in the country, do you think politicians have been fair to journalists?
I I don't think politicians have been fair to journalists. But then again, their task is on the journalist to ensure that whatever information you have is true. So we've known politicians to be always biased and to always try to swear from the truth. So generally, I would even recommend that you put your trust on a politician for information. So whatever you hear from the politician, just make sure that you fact check it and be sure that it's true.
And I'm actually asking because I think the NDC during its manifesto said they were going to strengthen the communication space for journalists to be able to get access to information from the various government agencies. Is this something that will ever materialize? You have been practicing, so you know.
I think the RTI law is already in existence, and personally, I've tried it. I have tried it, and I was told to pay before I could access some information.
You were told to pay?
Yes, 1,200. We were asked to pay for an amount of 1,200 before we were given the information. So
I know this is on TV, but would you mind sharing that organization?
I'd have to do my checks, and I want to be correct with the name and all of that. But I know for sure they were asked to pay 1,200, and so the media space is already choked with trained, skilled journalists, and the information's now, thanks to social media, it is everywhere. So I don't know what else they intend doing, because the accessibility is already there, but now we know our system. It's a matter of bureaucracy and who you know and what you have before you can access information. So
but did you also know that the payment system is actually legal because it forms part of the administration process?
Okay, that I didn't know. That I didn't.
Do you think the amount is too hefty? 1,200?
Yes, quite too hefty, because how many people can afford 1,200? And even with aside the money aspect, the processes in getting the information is hectic.
I think it's cumbersome.
Yes.
I'll come back to you. Titus, I have had issues as a practicing journalist. I have had issues accessing information from certain public relations officers and state agencies who will not speak. Have you experienced that before?
Exactly. Sometimes, you see, we are in a country where citizens cherish and adore democracy. Yet, when you try to say something in this country, your life can be at risk. Why am I saying that? Sometimes there is this truthful thing you would have to say, but you're afraid after saying that,
As a PRO?
as a PRO or as a journalist, politicians will come after you.
So for instance, I want to get information from the Ministry of Health regarding how much was spent on the COVID-19 pandemic. And the PRO is being resistant. Do you think that if he comes out with that information, his life will be threatened? Is that it?
Exactly. His life or her life will be threatened. And those are the reasons why these PROs don't want to share information to journalists, which is very, very bad. Because at the end of the day, the role of the journalist is to disseminate these kind of information to the people.
If they fail to communicate, why then were they employed, Roberts? If you can't perform your duties, why are you there?
One, the money. Yeah, because
I think they're just there because they want to work and get paid, not because they want to give out information. Okay.
second of it is about the people in power. So considering the fact that if your boss do not want you to disseminate information because it's going to hurt the organization or their stance in politics, and you do so because you think you want to be the world savior in Ghana, I feel that let me just say it, your life will be threatened, because it's something that everybody has a brand to protect, and everybody is thinking of what their families are going to eat, because they are not dependent on only themselves. Families depend on them. So if you're going to spoil where they eat, why should you exist?
Ayuba, when politicians say that they will make access to information easy, especially during the manifesto launch, do you think they were just saying something to excite media men and women?
Well, we can have two sides to that. Mainly because, one, they are in opposition and they might mean their words. Nevertheless, we can also see that it's just a political talk where they just want to gain the attention of the media outlets and media men just
to get their votes.
But then let us look at it from this point, where we are in a country now that everyone, or let me say every journalist or every worker, is afraid to give out information, then it means that there is something wrong. For that matter, if a party which is in opposition is promising to do something different from whatever is happening now, then I think that they are so serious about whatever is going to happen. Then they are going to do with them.
Think they will do it?
Yes.
Titus, you are still in school. Are you excited about no free stress policy? Are you excited about that?
Exactly. I think that's an astronomical policy from the National Democratic Congress, because we all know education is the process of socializing people to acquire knowledge and skills in order to live meaningful in the society. But here is the case. Most people will complete SHS but find it very, very difficult to go to tertiary. And even in tertiary, I know about 20 students deferring their course because of financial constraints. Now, here is the case study. Former President John Dramani Mahama is saying in the manifesto that he's going to make level 100 entrance pay or have no admission fees. Exactly. And so with this, I think it is going to help eradicate the disparities in the education sector. One, some people are arguing that when he does that, how would the person continue the education? That is why we have Get Fund. Now,
I think even for the between 200 and 400, he made those provisions clear that the students will get access to the students' loan. So that is even cleared.
Exactly. And so this is going to eradicate the disparities in the education sector. And so when the free SHS has been able to make many or huge number of SHS graduates, then the free entrance for level 100 would also continue by helping many people to get access to the university.
Does that policy excite you?
Frankly speaking, I feel this is not the time for NDC to make that promise to Ghanaians.
On what basis?
Due to the fact that there are a lot of debts which needs to be paid, and students, and the free SHS is ongoing, so students are able, those students who are who get good grades, right, are able to go to university due to the formation of loans and student loans. So I feel that this is not the time for promising that I'm going to pay your school fees when you're going to level 100. This is not the time for that.
Nanayo, let me come to you. In the event that the NDC is voted into power and this policy is really implemented, do you think that we're going to be having the quality of education that has to be had in the tertiary universities?
Honestly, no. Because we can take the free education, the SHS one, for example. It's not the best. It's not something we can speak of. Because, you assess the students in terms of diction, in terms of appearance, in terms of knowledge, and you realize that they lack so many things. There's so many loopholes. And so free university, again, I honestly don't believe that it's going to help our education sector at all.
You get the last word. Do you think this policy makes sense?
Yes, it does. Yes. Mainly because we have more students outside yet to enter into the university and do not have the means to enter for after admission. Now, if you are to look at the amount students pay before admission or after admission, it is a huge, colossal sum of money, where if the government is to take care of all these things, will help more parents and also bring in more students today. So it's actually a good policy by the NDC, and I think I do resonate with that.
You are a Muslim. I believe that you have paid attention to what the NDC and NPP have said in their manifestos concerning Zango development. First of all, mosques or mortuaries?
I'll go for the mortuary.
You'd rather the NDC builds mortuaries? That's interesting. For what reason?
I'm a Muslim, first of all. And for years, we have one thing. Every part of the country you are to go, you would find a mosque at every corner. And then again, there is one thing within Islam that if I am wanting to pray at this moment, even this place is a mosque for me. So there is no reason whatsoever to build more mosques for Muslims. However, when it comes to a diseased person, being taken from the mortuary, that is the normal Ghanaian mortuary, and bathed then to prayers. Trust me, it's a hurdle Muslims.
But do Muslims even need mortuaries? I mean, you are not like Christians where you can keep your body in the fridge for about months or even weeks. Yours is different. So why do you need mortuaries?
So the mortuary they are talking about is not as in a Muslim going to be placed in a freezer or whatsoever. However, the moment a Muslim dies, the processes become so easier for them to retrieve the deceased from the hospitals, then sent to that mortuary for their final janaza or bath or whatsoever, then given to the family. But this is the case where we are in this country. If a Muslim is to die right now, trust me, the hurdle Muslims even go through, they feel the sadness even more than they've seen that their person is dead.
Because of the absence of adequate mortuaries.
Yes. Doctors making you pass through a lot of processes. It takes hours, days. And you know our laws already. You are supposed to be buried the moment you are being confirmed dead. But then that is not the case in Ghana. People even have to fight the authorities at various health centers and the rest. So I feel that if there is a mortuary being given to Muslims, it is going to help a lot of communities in the country.
This is I honestly haven't heard anything of that sort. But Robert, I'll wrap up with you briefly. You have seen the brain drain in the health sector where nurses leave the country, are citing several issues. As an HR person, what do you think we aren't doing right?
One, I feel, because I've dealt with most people who are doing nursing right. What they say is that, oh, I want to do nursing in order to get a job, because that's the place the government is going to push you first to get a job. Due to that, they can start making ends meet in order to help their parents and everything. So when they do the nursing and now they're in the position of like them taking care of their parents and the money is not coming as fast as they want, and they also see greener pastures abroad which are going to pay them more, they intend to go there because they're not doing nursing for the human life. They're just doing nursing.
You don't think they're doing it because they are passionate about saving lives?
Yes, because most of the people I interact with, they're just doing nursing not to leave the country. One, secondly, because of the money they're going to get from it. Yeah, that's why a lot of people are leaving the country to go and be nurses outside or take care of older people, because that's where the money is. It's not about like they wanting to do the job, but that's the job that is like available for them.
So would you blame this issue on leadership failure on the part of governments?
Talking of leadership, I feel a leader has to listen to the people, right? So if government is not listening to the people in terms of what they want and how they want it, I blame the government, because it's the people they are they have to work for, not the people who have to worship them. It's not like we are putting you in the place because we think you are better, so we are come to worship you. No, it's about you serving us because we think that you have the brains to do that. Yeah. So
according to you, as leadership failure. Absolutely. You've been watching the Gen Z Manifesto. Let's take a quick break and then take Z Take with Natasha Jamira. We'll be right back.
Now, on the 7th of December 2024, Ghanaians are expected to elect a president and a member of parliament. So within 3 days of voting, the Electoral Commission has got to announce the results for the presidential elections. Speed up to January 6, the eve of the swearing-in ceremony. Parliamentarians wrap it up, and at midnight, the new parliament hits the floor with a new speaker for the House. On January 7, the Constitution Day, we swear in a new president.
You're welcome back from that break. This has been your Gen Z Manifesto. We've been having conversations, interesting ones, I must say, about various subjects that confront Gen Zs. We are back with the next episode on your TV station pretty shortly, and so keep watching GHOne TV for more. I am Tutuwaa Danso. Thank you for watching.